Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Trams87, and in today's video we're discussing Destiny lore. Yes, again. I recently made a post in the forums where I asked a simple question: why do you love Destiny lore? And when I say I was shocked by the response I got, I couldn't believe how many people were interested in the lore. The answers were concise, long explanations, and a lot of people shared some of their hopes for a better experience. That obviously includes the things that they're not happy with. So it's no small thing to say that how we've experienced the lore so far in the Destiny universe has been thrilling, but sometimes challenging too. Often, new players have found themselves confused by who is who, and when did this event happen, and who is Cade 7? Sorry, I mean Cade 6. But jokes aside, it looks like everyone is dreaming big for the lore in Destiny thus far. So, I decided to do what I do best. After multiple conversations with different fellow lore enthusiasts, I thought to myself it would be cool to have an experience where players could get a first-rate, in-depth experience of the story of Destiny, unfiltered by the algorithms of YouTube or plagued by Google Ads. Don't get me wrong, we currently have some rather visually and audibly delicious ways to experience the lore, but each one requires me having to use a different service in order to learn more. Now, this is often to be good, but also it can desync the lore community and sometimes hinder the unique ways we all experience the lore. So, without further ado, welcome to Project DL, or Destiny lore. What is Destiny lore? In short, it is a lore tab within Destiny, dedicated to one thing: reading, watching, and listening to Destiny lore. So what's the catch? There is no catch. But stop. Are you telling me you're telling Bungie to rebuild from scratch the way the current system works for the lore, even after they reduced the game file size? No. Just like every other tab you scroll or swipe through in Destiny, nothing would change. Let me explain. The idea would in fact be for Bungie to embed cinematic videos into this Destiny lore tab, organized in whatever timeline they see fit. Whilst I could bore you with the specifics, I thought it would be best to keep things simple. In this mock design that I've made, you will see that I have made some adjustments to the right hand column, as you see now. So, if you take a look at the right hand column, you will see 4 tabs. Now usually when you scroll through, I believe it's collections, you would get a very different view, but this is one that I have reinvented without changing too much to the classic experience that we have right now in Destiny 2. So, number 1 is fan creations. Number 2, weapon lore, followed by lore books, followed by cutscenes. Let me break it down. So, fan creations would essentially be a link, a hyperlink to the current creations page that we have right now in Destiny. I'm not going to really go into that because that already fits the bill. It ticks the boxes on the most front for a lot of the things that people are hopeful for in terms of getting recognition for work in Destiny. All I'm saying is, it would be cool to have a tab that you could click within game, which essentially brings up a embedded web view of the website. Very simple HTML code to create. As somebody who built websites for near enough all my life, embedding a web page within a web page is fairly simple, and I'm sure Bungie have some incredible ways in which to do this. Moving on, I want to go down to weapon lore. So the idea of weapon lore would essentially be connect this to the current weapons section in the collections. So this would kind of be like a snapshot view. You as a player would click on it and it would take you to a broader view, and you can go through, depending on whatever class you are, and look at the weapons and obviously read their lore. Nothing would change with that experience. Next up, we have lore books. This would connect directly to the same section that Bungie just redesigned, where you can go through and look at the lore section. The only one thing I would love to see added to that section would be maybe a search bar, so that I could search through lore specifics. Right now, the only place that you can do that is the Ishtar Collective, and I actually have to go to a separate tab in order to open that website and have a look, whereas it would be cool if I could do that within the game. And last but not least is the section that I'm calling cutscenes. So as you can see on the left, there is a video screen. There's essentially a YouTube video of Zavala. It's a screenshot that I put together from one of the cinematics that Bungie has put together. But essentially the goal would be that you could click that button and there would be a list of pretty much all the major cinematics that are important to you as a new player and a player who's been playing Destiny so far, at least to give you some idea. Now, whether or not Bungie would want to take this idea and start creating more cinematics, I have no idea, but this would include essentially all the illustrative animations and also the 3D compute generated animated cinematics that Bungie has graciously created for us. And last but not least is essentially the web lore. So this would basically be a link for you to click that would hopefully open some sort of in-game browser. In fact, a couple of these tabs could actually just be in-game browser windows. I'm not sure how easy that is to develop, as I'm not a web apps developer. But yeah, you could click that and maybe it would bring up the list for you of all the latest web lore from as far back as Bungie want to make relevant in terms of where we are in the Destiny story. So yeah, it's pretty much it for the lore tab. But I have one more suggestion that I think would be fun and maybe add another layer of gameplay that people might be interested in. Let's jump into it. Okay, so here we have the lore library. What is the lore library? Well, it's pretty much self-explanatory. The idea would be for you as the Destiny player to walk into a library. So here I have a screenshot that I took of Zavala's office, which you as the player would walk into, and you can see books. So hopefully these books would be lore books, physical or 3D lore books that you could pick up and open, where players can experience, relax and read, even research some of the lore. The second thing would be obviously that the crates that are on the left hand side of Zavala's office wouldn't be there if it was that this bookshelf would be used, but typically you would just have rows of bookshelves and you as a guardian could maybe walk through the bookshelves and have a look. Now, yes, I'm aware that technically this would be probably really complex, but I thought it would be fun to reimagine the idea of having some sort of dedicated lore section in two different ways for those of us who enjoy the kind of more in-game, living your character's life out in the in-game everyday life, and then the second version, which is pretty much snapshot of everything. What do I click on? How do I catch up with everything super quick? And yeah, that's basically what the idea was. Finally, the last idea is one that I think is probably maybe one of the easiest and would even necessarily eliminate the idea of having the Destiny lore tab in general, and that would be having some sort of kiosk, a Destiny lore kiosk. In the same way we access our storage to store things, or in the same way we access exotic weapons in Destiny, we would have the Destiny lore bank or data server, whatever you want to call it. Kind of similar to what the cryptarchs use in order to decrypt and also store everything that they've decrypted. So in this shot you can see an example, and I mentioned what I've just mentioned before about Cryptox using data towers, server towers to store some of the data. So maybe something like that could be employed for Guardians and we would access the data banks. What I've done right here is I've gone behind where we access our vault storage in Destiny, and the idea would be to like maybe dual boot these storage banks so that we can access in-game lore, but then also on the opposite side it's storage, if that makes sense. So I just thought that would be a fun and creative way for us to interact with the world of Destiny. So that's going to be it for this video. I have no idea if anybody likes this idea, but if you do, or you have other ideas, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. I had fun making this project. I have other thoughts and ideas about where I could go from this point, but for now, I've just enjoyed making this. But for now, that's going to be it. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to like this video and subscribe to hear when my next upload goes live. Remember, no matter what you're going through, you can do all things. Stay safe and Godspeed.